What we seem to have going on is all of the results as a result of the tests continue to improve, which gives us more hope that we're going to be able to move forward on this a little quicker in terms of finalizing when the water will be able to be returned to its normal use. We have more samples that were below the detected levels than we do have before. This is not over yet though, because we have more, we do need to get the rest of the results. The most recent sampling has arrived at Cincinnati, and that will be pending U.S. EPA evaluations, and they're telling us that that may not be done until to the latter part of this afternoon. The good news is the community has really and truly risen to the occasion. Our distribution centers and our logistics, I mean the National Guard and all the officers with the Sheriff's Office, the deputies, with our TPD, with our fire service, they have really and truly coordinated, and this has been, in my opinion, a very successful operation as it relates to community safety and providing that water. Our water locations are stocked. We are in the process of opening up a third, and that will be at the Parkway Plaza, and that should be open within the next probably 30 minutes. We're filling all the responses as necessary. The commercial side of it, the vendors have been actually over the top great. I mean, realistically, they have come out, they have given water so that those who are in need and yet find themselves in a financial situation, compromised, they have been given water, and you know, God bless them for what they've done. We're continuing to work with the EOC in terms of continue our exploration as to protocols, procedures, and how we handle this, quite frankly. Not that we're out of the woods yet, but it's a learning experience because we haven't done this ever, and so this is characteristically January, February, and March for me, a repetition of the events. The governor is on his way to Toledo. I plan on meeting him sometime in early afternoon, and I'm thinking between 1 and 1:30 will be when we'll meet. We should have the rest of the analysis, except for that which went down to Cincinnati this morning. We should have the rest of it before the governor arrives. It is my hope that the governor and his staff, we will sit together and we will work through what needs to be done in terms of bringing this horrendous negative experience to a positive end. But I can't give you a time. If I could, I would, but I can't because I don't have that time. And all I can tell you is everything is trending in a very positive direction.
Mayor, any idea why this happened to Toledo's water plant and not other municipals like Oregon?
Well, those are things that we have to really resolve in terms of the issues. And it's a very fair question because, let's be realistic, the water comes from the same location. But I don't have the answers at this moment in time. All I can tell you is, you know, I am thankful that Oregon didn't have to go through this, and we're just going to have to work together because Oregon would be just as vulnerable in the future. So I am sure that partnership will work it out together.
And Mayor, we're hearing rumors that it could be up to 3 days before these toxins get out of the system. Do you have any information on that?
Well, I think the rumors that you're hearing are exactly that. I don't think there's anybody with knowledges of science that would confirm that. At least no one's confirmed that to me, and I'm relying on what I believe to be some of the best experts in the area, or in Ohio and Michigan.
Have there been any discussions about what's next in this situation? What are things being done to prevent this from happening in the future?
Well, let's get past this now. I mean, you know, we started yesterday morning on phase 1, and then we went to phase 2, and we're still in phase 2. When we resolve these issues, then we'll get to phase 3, and then we'll figure out what happened and how are we going to prevent it from happening again. The one thing I can tell you that we can't control, and there has to be an effective way of handling all of the components or all the parts that create this algae problem in our western basin. I mean, seriously, that is the dilemma that we will have after this, because once we clear this problem up, once we get our systems into the position where the water is safe again, that is not going to eliminate the algae problem in the western basin of Lake Erie. That is not going to eliminate the agricultural runoff. That is not going to eliminate mega farming. That is not going to eliminate all those issues which are inherent to what causes this problem. That's where we really have to go. It's not just simply looking at our system.
And Mayor, I know you had a conference call earlier with the governor, and I know you're expecting him today. Did he mention anything about state funding to help with this situation?
We haven't talked about money, period. I mean, that's going to be a discussion at a later moment, I am sure. But at this moment in time, my concerns are not the money side of it. My concerns are safety. I want this community to know that we went through a terrible winter and we did not have one fatality, and we're going to go through this and we will not have one fatality if we can do anything to prevent it.
Have you heard anything from the police department if there's been any violence related to?
No, we've not. We've had no unusual experiences from our law enforcement side or our fire and rescue side.
Can you talk about the levels as what they were previously, as to we're seeing some good signs today? What numbers are we talking about?
You know, I don't really want to get into the weeds on numbers, because frankly, if I start talking about numbers, it's just going to confuse the issue that much more. And so rather than create a confusion, let's just deal with the reality we have. Let's work through this issue and let's get it resolved, and let's look forward to how we're never going to have this same experience in the future.
And this winter was rough on our local economy and our local businesses, and now this is having an effect on local businesses as well. What is your encouragement for them, and what can you tell them as when they can open their doors back up?
We're going to hopefully get into that discussion before the day's out.
How many samples have been taken that show this trending downward?
We don't have the complete review of all of the panels that have been done. I mean, the reality is we're using 3 separate and independent testing procedures. When I say we, in conjunction with the governor in the state of Ohio and in Michigan. And so every one of these tests are different in and of themselves. So if I told you there were 60 samples taken, what would that really significantly mean to you?
Is there an estimated date on the recovery process after this? How long we should wait?
Well, we're not going to get into a situation where we give a false hope. I mean, that would be very unfair to the community. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to put ourselves in a position where we expedite a process and then we have to reverse what we've expedited. That would be totally unfair to the community. When the decision is made that we can return back to what our normal was, then and only then will we make that decision. And that's going to be a decision based upon the fact that we are confident that what we've said is in the best interest and is good. It's good public policy.
Do you see this being a continuing problem throughout the summer here?
I would hope it isn't a continuing problem throughout the summer, but here again, I'm not God and I don't control Mother Nature.
How can it not be a continuing problem, considering we just started the algae season and the algae usually doesn't peak until mid-September?
Well, we're looking at our systems in terms of how we move our water and how it goes through the systems. Tom, I don't have that particular answer to you. I can't tell you that in the middle of October that we're not going to see an horrendous effect as a result of the algae blooms, nor I don't think anyone else can. All I can tell you is we've had this problem and we continually work through it, and we will work through it in the upcoming months.
Just to be clear too, when you have a meeting with the governor, you're probably only going to have the Ohio EPA result. You're still going to be waiting on the result from the US EPA lab in Cincinnati, right?
Well, it depends on which series of tests that you're asking about. The tests that went in yesterday, we will have those tests and we'll have the finals on those.
But the ones that went out
this morning, we will not have that test result. And they didn't really give us a time parameter, so it could be this afternoon yet, but we don't have it.
But being that's the most highly specialized lab, you probably wouldn't make a decision until after you get the last round of the last shipment of samples tested, right?
Well, that's a decision that remains to be seen yet. It depends on how the science works. Oh, okay. And I do have some other things.
Just one, just that.
Just the one. When you're going to where the potable water is, please bring your own containers, and that's Oregon and Scott Park. So if they'll bring their own bottles or containers, that would be helpful. Also, the Waterville Fire Department, Woodward High School, Scott Park Campus, Springfield, and Oregon, as I said, the Oregon Fire Departments.
Thank you.
And I think that's about all I can give you.
Is the local testing from the city continued as well throughout this period?
Pardon me?
Yes.
The local testing from the city continued as well? And if so, have the results changed? How drastically have they changed since yesterday?
Well, you know, by how drastically have they changed what?
Well, the local testing for the city, the testing the city is conducting, how have they changed since yesterday?
We're using our same testing format,
Okay.
the same testing format we've used for 8 years.
And we've also had some viewers call. They had some questions about if they cook with water. Is there anywhere they can get meals from the National Guard or?
Thank you.
Thank you.